Greetings Bond fans and welcome back to some Bond Geek Talks About with me, your host, the name's Stevens, Henry Stevens. Everybody, how do you do? Hope you're having a good day. Hope you maybe enjoyed a good Bond film recently. That's what we like to hear, or maybe a good James Bond book. But right, everybody, before we carry on in today's episode looking at the actors who could have played James Bond on the screen, can I also just ask you, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, why don't you give this channel Some Geek Talks About a subscribe? Maybe click on the notification bell icon to see future updates. Why not even give the videos a like? It all helps and I'm really, really grateful for that, everybody. Also, if you're looking for other content I might do, why don't you check out our sister channels at Some Geek Talks About, Some Disney Geek Talks About, and Some TARDIS Geek Talks About. There, we'll talk about Disney, Doctor Who, and other things on those channels as well, if you're interested in those as well. And lastly, everybody, if you're like me, you're always on the go quite a bit. You know, you go to work, long commute, or I don't know, you like to listen to something on when you work out, you want something to entertain you. I've got it for you. I've got the Some Geek Talks About podcast for you. That's where all the channels come together in a one in particular podcast I give to all of you, everybody. You can listen to it as much as you want, anytime you want. You can find it on the Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, and Spotify, and Podbean. You can listen to it anytime you want there. But everyone, today, what we're doing is we're going to look at the potential other actors who could have played James Bond. And we're going to look now, start off with some others. Now, here's one that really interests me, and that was Richard Burton was up for the role of James Bond, right at the beginning. I think that's just crazy when you think about it a bit. Because I love the actor Richard Burton. He was a really good actor. Would I think you've made a good James Bond? I'll give a 50-50 on that one. I think you can certainly see him in the role, but I don't know if he really had the right it to be James Bond, if I'm absolutely honest. Another potential candidate that I also found out was my Captain Nemo, my bad guy in North by Northwest, and that is James Mason. And for this I say, oh yes. Oh yes, James Mason would have been a wonderful James Bond. I don't see him doing that many films. Maybe 3 max. Yeah, 3. Nice trilogy of James Mason Bond films. That would have been so cool. I really do think that he has such an amazing screen presence. It's just absolutely crazy, and I just love seeing him in film. So yeah, James Mason potentially could have been a James Bond. Wow. But this next one, I have to say, I would have just been, oh yes, because unabashedly I am a massive fan of this actor. Again, a bit like some others on this list, I've said maybe past, and I will in the future, if he's in a movie, I'll just see it no matter what. And that was the late, great Oliver Reed. Oliver Reed will always be Bill Sykes to me first and foremost, but this man could have been a great James Bond. Oh, he could have been an absolutely amazing James Bond, in my opinion. The reason he didn't get it because the producers didn't want to sort of put the effort in to help his poor public image. I won't go into the details there, but I think he would have been an absolutely amazing one. Now, going on from that, I want to talk about 2 really now, looking at the time of like Diamonds Are Forever, because obviously this was before we knew that Sean Connery, was going to come back. They were thinking maybe Americanizing Bond, so they're going to go with the actor John Gavin. John Gavin, I know mostly from just basically Psycho. He's really good in that. Nothing really memorable, but for all intents and purposes, I hear he's a great actor. I must say, I'm slightly against this. And the other choice that was being considered, we've got confirmation from this from Diana Broccoli in the Diamonds Are Forever making of, was Adam West. By the way, if you actually see the film Batman the movie and just see him actually as Bruce Wayne fighting, you can sort of see why a bit. I think Adam West could have been a good James Bond, but I'm going to say this now and I'll say it again in the future. I'm absolutely sure when I say this. But Tom Mankiewicz in the making of Diamonds Are Forever put this so eloquently: you can't have James Bond and not him, the actor, be British. It just won't work. It's like casting an American in a John Wayne part. It doesn't work. You lose something from it. And I think absolutely for me, that sort of shows here very much so in this whole story. But hey, they could have been interesting. Right, we're gonna move really further on now to some of the names down I've got on my list here. And we're going to go into when they were like looking at different people after for Octopussy. And you've got James Brolin. Now, if you can find the James Brolin screen test for Bonds online. You can. They're all over YouTube. They've been released. I'll leave it up to you what you think about the idea of James Brolin again as James Bond. I'm going to repeat what I said that Tom Mankiewicz said in Diamonds Over a Making of. You can't have an actor play Bond and not him be British. It doesn't work. It's like casting an Englishman in a John Wayne part. It doesn't work. I got to be honest, I just don't think James Brolin would have been a great choice for this. And also talk about other Americans again. I feel I'm beating up on American actors who've been trying to play James Bond here. I'm not, but again, these were choices of consideration. Burt Reynolds, believe it or not, was in contention, maybe replacing an actor to play James Bond. I'm sorry, that without a shadow of a doubt for me is just no. No. You can't have. Just no, I'm sorry. Look, I like me Burt Reynolds. His films I actually find very enjoyable, and I've always found him really enjoyable to watch on screen. But Burt Reynolds as James Bond to me is just no. I feel very rude saying that. I'm sorry, but no, that just doesn't work for me. Now, this is where I'm going to be I'm breaking my own rules here, because we have had an Australian play James Bond, and we could have had a potential New Zealand actor play Bond. He's always very famously known as Riley Ace's Spies, but we could have had Sam Neill play James Bond. Yes, Dr. Alan Grant play James Bond. The screen test is out there, and to be fair, I agree with Michael Wilson. It was a very good test. I thought he made and looked and acted a very good James Bond. Would I have liked him as James Bond? I'm going to be honest, I'm going to say no. I think Sam Neill, as a great actor as he was, I would like him as maybe a Bond villain, but not as Bond. But it is interesting. This is why I love talking about this list. These so many great actors we talk about who could have played James Bond. Let's go back actually a while back to like the beginning of another actor who was potential to play James Bond, and that was Cary Grant. Right after the success of North by Northwest, he didn't choose it because he felt he was just too old to really start doing another series. For the record, Sam Neill lost it because they just went with Timothy Dalton in The Living Daylights. But Cary Grant as James Bond, got the style, got the charisma, but I just don't think that would have been a good choice. But all of these people would be better than my next person I am going to bring up here. Even though I love this actor with a passion, and I'd love to see him actually maybe direct a Bond film sincerely, but they really did look into Mel Gibson. He didn't get the part because he wasn't British, but we could have had mad as a cuckoo Mel Gibson as James Bond, Mad Max as James Bond. Oh my god, that I have to say, even though I don't think it would be good, it'd be like, just take my money. I want to see that. I would have loved to, even though not official, just see Mel Gibson be James Bond. Oh, that would be so interesting to see. I really do think so. That would just be a bit bonkers now. But it's true. It's what potentially could have happened. But let's go further now. We're now going to move into where we get more detail of more people I feel who we definitely know could have been potentially James Bond. We're going into sort of, the Goldeneye era before Brosnan was cast. And we're going to look at actually the villain of Goldeneye, Sean Bean. He was up for James Bond. In fact, and the official word is here, he was the second choice for Eon Productions if Timothy Dalton did not return. However, MGM overruled on both counts and Pierce Brosnan was given the part. So the producers, still impressed with him, gave him the part of the villain. I have to say, the idea of Sean Bean playing James Bond, yes, I think he would have been absolutely fantastic. He showed it in the film playing 006, he would have been brilliant. I think without a doubt, Sean Bean would have been an absolutely magnificent James Bond. That one is a 2 thumbs up for me. But again, it could have gone that way. We could have had like Goldeneye, Tomorrow Never Dies, Well Enough, and Die Another Day with Sean Bean, not Pierce Brosnan. Just thinking about that, isn't it just weird? That could have been a thing. That really, really could have been a thing. But everybody, that is the end of part 2 episode. We've talked about quite a few different actors, like Alan West and Cary Grant, James Brolin, Sam Neill, Sean Bean, Mel Gibson. We've talked about a few here. And again, a bit like, I think it's just really interesting talking about this. But I want to know, what are your thoughts on these actors playing it? Comment down below. Tell me what you think about this. As always, everybody, my name's Henry Stevens, and this is some Bond Geek Talks About. Goodbye.